Get back in the truck! Travis, get out of there!
In White Mountains, Arizona, 1975, a car speeds up and stops in front of a bar. Two men sitting outside glance at the car, puzzled about what's going on. The people inside the car get out and walk into the bar. One of the men by the door asks if they're in a hurry, but they ignore him and head inside. At the main table, one of them, Mike, tells the group they better stick to the story. Greg looks disturbed and urges Mike to make the call now. Mike walks over to the phone. Meanwhile, elsewhere, investigator Frank Waters is driving and arrives at the investigation site. He is greeted by Sheriff Blake Davis, who briefs him on the case. A man named Travis Walton is missing. Mike Rogers is the one who reports him missing. Along with another officer, Davis shares all the details. The other men who are with Mike at the time of the incident are David Whitlock, Greg Hayes, Robert Cocktail, and Alan Dallas. Waters gathers the group together to talk to them. When he begins questioning, Dallas complains about being interviewed again, saying they've already told everything to the sheriff. Waters keeps pressing about Travis and asks Mike directly where Travis is now. Mike starts narrating.
He was my best friend.
A flashback begins. Travis rides his bike around town. Meanwhile, Mike sleeps until his daughters wake him up. He gets into his car and heads downstairs. His wife, Kate, tells him they need money for the mortgage or the bank will take action. Mike reassures her that he'll take care of it. As he works on his car, Travis arrives. He excitedly shows Mike a drawing of a business plan, saying it's their future. They're going to call it MT Motors, but Mike isn't interested. He just needs steady work to save his house. Travis then playfully climbs up to a bedroom window where Dana, Mike's little sister, sleeps. He wakes her up, jokingly serves her food and calls it breakfast in bed, kisses her, and suggests they get married, making her laugh. At that moment, Mike calls out for Travis, and he heads back and gets in the car. Soon after, the rest of their crew shows up, and they all gather together and start driving. After a while of driving, the group reaches their destination and gets out of the car. They are there to cut down trees, so they split up the work and get started right away. After working for some time, they decide to take a break. During the rest, Travis goes over to Mike and starts talking about his dreams. Mike tells him that he won't let him marry his little sister, saying he isn't ready to be a husband. In the present, Mike admits that Travis leaves with them that day. After his conversation with Mike, Waters moves on to question Dallas. He asks if Dallas agrees with Mike's story, and Dallas says he does. Waters then notices Dallas's injured hand and asks about it, but Dallas brushes it off, saying it's a paper cut, and then begins narrating the events of that night. In a flashback, the group drives home after a full day of work. Suddenly, they spot something strange up ahead that looks like a glowing film or light. They begin speculating about what it could be, but since it's the only road, they keep driving toward it. As they get closer, they realize it's not a fire at all. Without warning, Travis jumps out of the truck and walks toward the glowing light. He stares up at it in fascination while the others scream at him to come back, but he keeps walking and stands directly under a large hovering object. Suddenly, a beam of light shoots down and strikes Travis. The others are shocked and frozen with fear. After a moment, when Travis stops moving, they think he's dead and speed off in panic. As they drive, they argue about whether to go back for him. Most of the group is terrified and refuses. Mike eventually tells them all to get out of the car. He's going back alone to check on Travis. They reluctantly get out, and Mike drives back. In the present, Mike continues explaining. He says he searches the woods and every place he can think of, but can't find Travis. Waters, still skeptical, turns his attention to Greg, who is visibly nervous and crying. When asked, Greg confirms the same story. Realizing they're not getting any new information, Waters and Sheriff Davis step outside. Waters asks for a motel where he can stay the night, and Davis recommends one nearby. Mike returns home where Dana waits anxiously. She asks about Travis, and Mike tells her he doesn't know what happened. She starts accusing him of abandoning Travis. He tries to explain and reassure her that a search party is being organized for the next day. Overwhelmed, Dana begins to cry. As he said, the search party starts the next day. During the search, Travis's brother Dan shows up and demands answers. He turns to Mike and warns him that if something happens to Travis, Mike will be the one responsible. In the woods, the search continues. The team finds a suspicious spot and starts digging, but it turns out to be just a dead dog. Back at home, Mike's wife, Kate, tells him that his workplace called. They're planning to replace him. When Mike doesn't react, she confronts him, asking how they're going to pay the bills. Mike says he doesn't care, his best friend is missing, and he doesn't know what to do. Kate reminds him that he has to care because people in town are already talking. She even accuses him of being treated like a murderer. When she sees his expression, she backs off a little but still pushes him to tell her the truth. Mike simply tells her to believe him. That's all he can offer. That night, Mike checks into a motel and spends the night there. The next morning, when he steps outside, the area is swarmed with reporters. He quickly gets in his truck and drives off. After a while, he pulls over, and a strange man approaches him. The man says he knows the truth and hands Mike a business card, telling him to call. Later, the group meets again to talk about what's happening and what they should do next. During the conversation, a man named Bug shows up and causes a bit of trouble, but things settle down quickly. Soon after, Waters and Davis arrive and ask for Dallas, but the group says they don't know where he is. The officers say they all need to take a lie detector test. Mike tells them they'll think about it. Waters then takes Mike aside for a walk. He tells Mike that he doesn't believe he killed Travis, but it feels like he's hiding something. Without waiting for a response, Waters walks away. After the conversation, Mike and David go looking for Dallas. They tell him that the cops are starting to suspect his injuries aren't just paper cuts. They think there's something more to it. They also inform him about the lie detector test, but Dallas refuses. He says those tests are risky, and that even if they're telling the truth, if the machine says otherwise, it'll make them look like liars. The three of them begin arguing, and things escalate into a fight, but it ends quickly. Afterward, the case gains more media attention. Reporters begin covering it, and the public starts talking. At a town conference, Sheriff Davis answers questions from concerned citizens. People in town are scared, and their children are asking questions about UFOs. Mike walks into the meeting and faces the crowd. He confronts everyone, asking if they're accusing him of murder. He insists that he's telling the truth and has nothing to hide. Then he turns to Davis and tells him that he's ready. He agrees to take the lie detector test. As discussed, Mike heads to the station for the test. Reporters swarm the entrance, but he manages to slip past them and get inside. There, Davis and the other officers explain how the test works, and they all get ready to begin. The test begins with the examiner asking each of them their names and other simple questions. Once the basics are done, he moves on to the real ones. He asks about the events of the night, the hovering object, and whether Travis was hit by a beam. Finally, he asks each of them if they murdered Travis. Afterward, the group waits for the results. Soon, Davis and Waters join them. When they ask for the outcome, they're told that David's results are inconclusive. The examiner says they'll have to come back tomorrow. However, Mike refuses. He says they did what they were asked to do, and they're not doing it again. The group storms out, frustrated. They know they're telling the truth. Later that night, back at home, Mike is asleep with his daughters. Kate comes in and asks if he's staying the night, and he tells her he is. As they talk, the phone rings. Kate answers, but no one speaks. Thinking it's a prank, she angrily hangs up. When it rings again, Mike answers. It's Travis. He's calling for help. Immediately, Mike drives his truck with Dana, David, and Dan. They go from gas station to gas station, searching. Eventually, at one of them, they find Travis, naked, shaking, and terrified. When they approach, he screams as Dana tries to touch him. Then, they take him to the bathroom. He drinks water, and the moment he does, he recognizes Mike and calls out his name. At that moment, the man who gave Mike his business card walks in. He introduces himself as Jarvis Powell, staring at Travis with intense curiosity. Inside, Jarvis Powell begins asking Travis questions about where he was, the aliens, and if he was taken into a mothership. He presses for answers, even asking what the aliens looked like, but the group steps in and kicks him out. Suddenly, Travis touches the bathroom mirror. As his hand presses against the glass, a memory flashes back.
Here we go. Ready? Yeah, flip.
He loses consciousness and collapses. They rush him to the hospital. Everything is blurry for him. Later that night, Mike visits Travis. He apologizes for leaving him and tries to explain. Travis stays silent, then finally asks if they really left him there. Mike says he went back, but Travis turns away in disappointment. The next day, Travis is discharged. As he steps outside, reporters swarm him. He gets into the car while Dana gathers the rest of their things. Just then, Waters arrives, introduces himself, and asks where Travis has been for the past 5 days. Travis says he doesn't remember. At that moment, Dana returns and takes Travis home. Back at home, people are waiting, congratulating him. Travis tries to act normal, but he keeps having flashbacks. When dinner is served, Dana can't find him until she sees him crouched under the table. Suddenly, a drop of syrup hits his face, triggering another memory. He's inside a pod. He tries to escape but sees others trapped too. He falls from the pod, attached to a cable, and crashes into another room. There is a body inside that freaks him out. He tries to climb upward and finds a strange room with floating spacesuits. Just as he reaches out, an alien grabs him from behind. Travis panics. The alien restrains him and others arrive. They remove his clothes, wrap him in a white sheet, and strap him to a table. Then, they begin experimenting on him. A machine descends toward his eye. Suddenly, in the present, Travis wakes up. He's in a doctor's office. Waters and Davis are there. However, Travis still remembers nothing clearly. As they leave, Waters tells Davis he still thinks it's all fake, just a cry for attention. He gets in his car and drives away, convinced there is no case. Years later, Travis and Dana are now married and have a young son. Dana is pregnant with their second child. One morning, Travis says goodbye to Dana and heads to his car for work. However, instead of going straight there, he drives out to see Mike. It's been 2.5 years since they last spoke. Mike, now divorced, lives alone in a cabin. Travis asks if they can talk and invites Mike to ride with him. They get into the car, and Travis drives to the spot where everything happened. Mike quietly wonders why they're back there. After a moment, Travis talks about his family, then tells Mike that Dana is pregnant again. He's going to be an uncle. Mike smiles. Finally, after a pause, Travis apologizes. He says he never should have gotten out of the truck that night. None of it would have happened. They stand in silence for a moment, then quietly get back into the car and drive away. Did this story spook you out? Let us know in the comments below. For more horror movie recaps, subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next one. Fear awaits you.